The self part is to me, just from my own personal experience as a person having to do it and then working with other people, the understanding of what is happening in you is more important than
Right.
the other person or group of people.
Right.
There is so much that we are doing in ourselves that drives what happens and doesn't happen.
Right.
And for me, a lot of my learning was having to really figure out why I was doing what I was doing or not and where it came from. I had to really learn, and I still have to figure out at times what is that behavior about and where did it even come from? Because it helps me do different situations. When I had no idea about anything, I was just doing all kinds of stuff. I couldn't tell you why. I could not tell you why. But now I get to do different. In a moment, I get to say, all right, this part of me is activated, but that's okay. It's got nothing to do with those persons. So I really need to stay in this moment and figure out how to self-regulate because they're trying to say something here. But the internal piece to me is the most significant. And I don't mean the internal in terms of learning more knowledge. The knowledge is important,
Right.
but the deeper layer of how we experience what we're learning and how we experience trying to use it, how we experience avoiding it is powerful and the greatest gift you're going to be able to give yourself if you're trying to make these types of changes.
So I had a question. So I want to get at what you're talking about is basically having the capacity to really develop your own awareness around how and why you do or don't respond to certain situations as it relates to these dynamics of culture and identity, etc. You answered because one of the greatest things as a trainer, I appreciate is folks having those aha moments, right? And what I heard you say is that's such a big piece of this, but not necessarily because somebody else was giving it to you. It's like you have to sit in this space and explore you so you can get to those aha moments yourself. Because that's always a question too. How do you get to this awareness and how do you get there? How do you see it? And it's just like part of it is I think the knowledge allows for the outward awareness to a great degree in terms of understanding these are some of the things that you're contending with and dealing with. Or these are the isms. These are how they look. This is how we define them. Mm-hmm. And so once you have that knowledge, then you can begin to maybe have the framework or the literature, the words, right? You can have the language to apply to yourself. And maybe a lens, because it's often easier to look at the lens outside of yourself first. You have the lens to be able to look at yourself and to question your actions because you also recognize there's a feeling that's connected to those actions. And you have to challenge yourself and ask yourself, why do I feel like this? And why did I decide to take this route? And those are personal conversations that we have to be willing to have with ourselves that will help us navigate this in the context of working with other people.
Yes. This whole thing that you're describing is literally the types of experiences that Living Unapologetically creates. We just had this training and it was truly only practice-based. At the top, this is practice only. We're barely talking. If you don't want to practice it, this ain't the place for you. Here are the prompts, practice saying the words. And when you go into the groups, don't talk about what you would say if you were in the situation. It is the people in front of you. It is the scenario, and practice it. And the follow-up prompts were, what did you feel before you said it? What did you feel like during it? What happened after? Just literally unpacking it. And then there was also, prior to doing that, put people in the groups and be like, look, how do you feel about role playing? And what do you need to be able to feel safe here? And then put them in there to do that. Because I do acknowledge it's practice and people haven't done it before. So we do what we can to create some level of safety, but not all situations in workplaces or other professional settings will be that way. But at least in these more, I don't like the word control, guided experiences that we provide, there are ways where you can try it on and find your own voice or what I call personal protocol, the things that you are comfortable saying so that you can try out these different types of conversations. But that's so important.
Right.